Ancient Rome, a name synonymous with power, opulence, and unparalleled decadence. The Roman Empire, a sprawling tapestry of cultures and conquests, was held together by the iron fist of its emperors. These men, worshipped as gods on earth, held the fate of millions in their hands. Yet absolute power often corrupts absolutely, and the annals of Roman history are littered with tales of emperors whose reigns were marked by madness, cruelty, and shocking excess. Imagine a world where lavish feasts could last for days, where gladiators battled to the death for entertainment, and where the whims of a single man could mean life or death for millions. This was the reality of ancient Rome, a world where the line between reason and madness was often blurred, and few emperors embodied this duality as vividly as Gaius Caesar Augustus Germanicus, better known by his infamous nickname Caligula. Caligula's reign, though brief, was a whirlwind of extravagance, cruelty, and bizarre behavior that shocked even the most hardened Romans. Born in 12 AD, Gaius was the son of Germanicus, a popular general, and Agrippina the Elder, a formidable woman descended from Augustus, the first emperor of Rome. His lineage was illustrious, and from a young age he was surrounded by the grandeur and complexities of Roman nobility. His nickname, Caligula, meaning little boots, was given to him affectionately by his father's soldiers, who adored the young boy who would accompany them on campaigns dressed in a miniature legionary uniform. This early exposure to military life and the adoration of the troops left a lasting impression on him. Caligula's early years were marked by both privilege and tragedy. He enjoyed the luxuries of Roman aristocracy, but was also exposed to the darker side of power and politics. He witnessed the brutal power struggles that plagued the Julio-Claudian dynasty, and his family suffered greatly under the tyrannical rule of his great-uncle Tiberius. The constant threat of betrayal and the atmosphere of fear were ever present. His father died under suspicious circumstances. His mother and brothers were imprisoned, and Caligula himself was forced to live under the watchful eye of Tiberius, a man known for his paranoia and cruelty. These events deeply scarred him, shaping his views on power and loyalty. These formative experiences left an indelible mark on the young Caligula. The trauma and the lessons learned during these years would influence his reign in profound ways. When he finally ascended to the throne in 37 AD at the age of 24, many hoped he would usher in a new era of prosperity and stability. The initial optimism was palpable. The Roman people, weary of Tiberius's oppressive rule, greeted their new emperor with genuine enthusiasm. They believed that Caligula, with his noble lineage and youthful energy, would bring about much-needed change and renewal. Initially, Caligula's reign showed promise. He released political prisoners, abolished unpopular taxes, and organized lavish games and spectacles to win the favor of the people. These events were grand and opulent, designed to showcase the emperor's generosity and to entertain the masses. However, this early period of goodwill was short-lived. The initial joy and relief among the populace soon turned to unease and fear. Behind the facade of a benevolent ruler lurked a darker side, one that was increasingly difficult to hide from the public eye. A side fueled by paranoia, megalomania, and a seemingly insatiable appetite for excess. Caligula's actions became more erratic and unpredictable, causing concern among his advisors and the Roman Senate. One particularly striking example of Caligula's extravagance was his construction of a floating bridge across the Bay of Baiae. This project was not only ambitious, but also incredibly costly. This engineering marvel, spanning over 2 miles of water, was built using hundreds of ships, each meticulously arranged to form a continuous path across the bay. Their decks were covered with earth and materials to create a temporary roadway, allowing Caligula to ride across as if on solid ground. The purpose of this elaborate project, it remains a topic of debate among historians. Some historians speculate that it was a strategic military exercise intended to intimidate Rome's enemies and demonstrate the might of the Roman Empire. Others believe it was a symbolic act, a way for Caligula to demonstrate his power over nature itself, defying the natural order to assert his dominance. However, the most likely explanation, and the one that aligns with Caligula's documented eccentricities, is that it was simply a whim, a grandiose display of wealth and power intended to satisfy his ego and indulge his fantasies. This extravagant project, like many of Caligula's actions, was a testament to his boundless ego and his desire to leave an indelible mark on history, regardless of the cost. Section 4. Incitatus the Senator, blurring the lines of sanity. Caligula's reign went beyond extravagant spending and bizarre construction projects. His actions were not just eccentric, they were a reflection of a mind that was increasingly losing touch with reality. His behavior became increasingly erratic and cruel. The emperor's court was a place of chaos and fear where his unpredictable moods could lead to sudden and violent outbursts. He declared himself a living god, demanding to be worshipped as such. This self-deification was not just a display of arrogance, but a sign of his delusional state. He indulged in incestuous relationships with his sisters and allegedly committed acts of unimaginable cruelty and depravity. These actions shocked even the most jaded members of Roman society. Perhaps the most telling anecdote of Caligula's mental state is his supposed affection for his horse, Incitatus. This was no ordinary fondness for a pet. This wasn't simply a case of an emperor spoiling his favorite steed. It was an obsession that bordered on the absurd. Caligula's adoration for Incitatus reached absurd levels. He treated the horse better than most people in his empire. He housed the horse in a marble stable, complete with ivory mangers and purple blankets. These luxuries were fit for royalty, not an animal. He even went so far as to appoint Incitatus to the Roman Senate. This act was either a sign of his madness or a deliberate mockery of the political system. Whether Caligula genuinely believed in Incitatus's political acumen, or whether this was a calculated insult to the Roman Senate, a way of demonstrating his absolute power and their utter insignificance in his eyes, remains a point of debate. This act was a clear indication of his disdain for the established order. Regardless of his true intentions, the anecdote speaks volumes about Caligula's mental state and his increasingly tenuous grasp on reality. His